location in this building, a car dealership, a coffee shop, amongst other clients that call this place home, but we'll obviously have to look for a new place to operate from tomorrow. Trevor, what other updates do you have for us?
Wega, there seems to be a bit of progress from the firefighters now. They're moving closer. I can see one of them just getting closer to where the flame is. They're just putting up the ladder right now. They're dangerously close to where the flame is as we speak, but as we know, they have trained. There's a second fire brigade fighting truck that has just come in. There's an ambulance that is also coming in right now. The flames are becoming much more intense. There's likelihood that they'll need more than just one fire truck, but I can see a firefighter trying to access the area right now. I don't know whether you can see him. It's at the car dealership yard, and that's the reason why I was telling you the explosions keep coming at a faster interval, and the flames are becoming much more intense. And like you mentioned, traffic seems to have been diverted from that area. That is the second firefighting truck that I mentioned. It has just gained access there right now. It's probably going to tackle the flame from both sides as we speak right now. And this is live. These are live fast pictures coming from the scene along Gong Road right now. There's not very much that we know. What we know is that there's a massive fire on the Malik Heights flame. It's becoming much more intense. There's a lot of smoke billowing. There's a second ambulance that has come in. We don't know whether there are any casualties. There's another fire brigade that has also come in. Traffic has now been diverted. If you're heading anywhere towards Ngong Road, you may want to use alternative routes there. Mashirima Kapombe has moved close to the scene just to give us more updates as and when they receive them. We will definitely know. And the explosions still keep coming, as we mentioned earlier on. We're still trying to get details of whether there was anyone in the building at that particular moment, but it's the first floor, I believe, is all up in flames right next to the car dealership that I was telling you about earlier on, Wahiga. And I can see there seems to be a bit of intervention as we speak. The firefighters are sort of trying to contain the flame, but there's not much they can do as it stands. But there's a second fire brigade, fire truck, that is also handling the flame from the left side of the building. There's a chance that it will be successful because they did get here quite early, but the smoke started maybe an hour before they got here. But the flames are now as obvious, and earlier on we had not been seeing them, but now we can see the flames becoming more and more, even as the firefighters struggle against time to contain the fire on the 9-story building. Wahiga?
Trevor, we have quite a tight shot of that building. Is there any possibility that the fire could spread to adjacent buildings, within the neighborhood, even as you have that sort of wider shot of what is happening there?
Yeah, well, it's really live shots. We're trying to get you the best shots we can as we speak, but we're moving closer just to give you a glimpse of what's really happening. But there's also a bit of restriction there. I can see people being moved back just to give the ambulances access. As explosions become loud, I'm not sure whether you can hear them from where you are. They're a bit destructive, and they can also confuse many people around there, and that's the reason why there's a bit of confusion around that area. But we're trying to get you as close as we can and give you as much detail as we can about the building that is currently on fire as we speak. We'll also try and speak to the authorities to find out at what point they got the SOS, and if they know whether there was anyone in the building at the time or whether anyone has been rescued from the building as we speak. But I can see the firefighters are now gaining access to that floor. If you can see from where you are, Wahiga, they're just moving into that floor. They already have their hose pipes ready, and they're trying to tackle that heat from both sides, actually. There's the firefighting truck on the left, and another one right in front where the car dealership is. And that is also where the flames seem to be much more intense. They seem to be moving to the second floor from where I stand. I can see the smoke sort of moving higher, but it's probably going to be contained because the firefighters are already handling it from that angle.
Okay, the updates that we are receiving in our studios is that the fire is now on the floor where the car dealership is. Of course, this is something that Trevor has kept repeating. And if you just joined us, this is Citizen TV's live coverage of a fire blazing within a building that is the Malik Heights 9-story building along Gong Road. We actually have some pictures of what the building looked like during the day. That's obviously before this fire happened. And there is that picture that you're now seeing on the screen. And the cars, you can see that car dealership, the cars mainly parked outside there, facing the road, that being Gong Road. This is opposite the Greenhouse Mall, very close to the Adams Arcade roundabout along Gong Road. But now a different picture is what we're showing you tonight, with our team there reporting that from about 8 p.m. they started hearing spaced out explosions at that site. Not quite sure what it was. They were preparing for a show, the Citizen TV Town Hall, but at 8:30 it became apparent that this was not just fireworks or anything of the sort, but a serious situation was developing. Our team there, stating that fire was, smoke started billowing out of the building, especially from the lower areas. And you can see the smoke, the fire is really concentrated towards the right side of the building. But there now seems to be some sort of difference there in the intensity, probably as firefighters get closer and closer to the source and apply as much water pressure as they can. And so that's the situation that we have right now. Obviously, a bit of a traffic situation on the roads. Motorists advised, even if you want to go and check what's happening there, please use alternative routes, possibly park a bit far. And then if you must get closer, observe the directions of the officers that are there, that have been stationed on the ground. We are also receiving reports that there might have been some apartments here. Of course, we'll confirm that as soon as we have any particular information on the same. But that is the information that we have for now. A developing story that from 8 p.m. our team, they are setting up for a live show, started hearing explosions from a building across the road, which housed a restaurant, a car dealership, a coffee shop, possibly some apartments. That being the lowest level. Actually, this is the first floor, I believe, where just behind that car dealership, that seems to be where the fire is quite intense at this particular time. That could possibly be the origin of this fire as well, but we'll have to wait for the authorities to tell us exactly where the fire started and what caused it. But for now, our team's endeavoring to bring you the best shots. You can see the firefighters at work, trying to douse out the flames before the fire spreads to adjacent houses and buildings. This being quite I wouldn't say congested, but quite a busy part of the city in terms of the number of developments that are there as well. And the authorities need to move very quickly to ensure that this fire does not get out of this place. We're receiving information that the building was built.
I'm not sure whether you can still hear me.
Yes, I can, Trevor. Go ahead. What else can you tell us?
We've moved slightly closer to that building, and what we know so far is that the car dealership that is on fire right now is called Al Hussein Motors Limited. There's a restaurant there, it's called also Junubin Restaurant. Just above it, it's also on fire as well as we speak. I saw a bit of movement when I moved closer to it. I'm not sure whether those are the firefighters who are in there or there were people, but there was a bit of movement on the first floor where the fire is much more intense as we speak. There seemed to be a bit of success from the front side of the building where the firefighters are, but the flames still keep recurring, because I can almost tell from where I was that they were trying to put it down, but it kept coming up again. It's because it had already spread to almost the entire floor right now as we speak. I could see a bit of movement in there. I think it's the fire brigade, and also the flames are becoming much more intense from where we stand. The car dealership is also on fire, and like we said, that road has now been cordoned off. That area is virtually inaccessible. So anybody who's along Gong Road should just use alternative routes. It's actually been cordoned off as the firefighters try and tackle the flame from underneath and from the side as well. There seems to be, it's an on and off flame, Wahiga, and that's the reason why I think the firefighters are struggling with it, because of the winds that are also blowing. The fire is moving faster than they may have anticipated. They're all trained to handle it, but they seem to be putting it off and then it's coming up again. These are things I can only describe from where I'm standing. It's live right now as we speak. We don't have much information. I'm only describing to you what I can see from a few meters where I'm standing, and I can see the strobe lights coming in as well. There's more intervention heading there. I can still hear some more sirens coming through, but the fire seems to be contained on that particular floor, but it's still spreading across that floor. Remember, I said it was about 1,200 square feet to the side, and it's a 9-story building. So the interesting thing is that the smoke and the fire is on the first floor, but the smoke is coming out of the rooftop. So we don't know how far it has moved higher, but what we can see is there's a bit of intervention right now. I can see a bit of movement on that floor, and I'm sure you can hear the sirens, meaning they've called in for more reinforcement. The flames seems to have been much more intense than it was anticipated. There was a second vehicle that came in. Now there seems to be a third one that's coming in.
Okay. Allow me, I will cut off Trevor at this time because I want to bring in Mashirima, who is much closer to